Hello everybody, it's your pal E.V.A here, and we're back with another chill speed paint video. If you're wondering why last week was just a short for speed paint, it's because last week I was very sick, and it got to the point where I couldn't even talk without coughing a whole bunch. I'm still a little bit under the weather too, but I've gotten much better to the point where I think I can record a video for this week. So yeah, I hope you understand. But yeah, this video is just going to be another chill speed paint video. I was going to do a longer video or like a more in-depth video about something else, but I decided to postpone that video so I can just work on some chill speed paints, because there's some artworks I've done over the last few months that I haven't posted here yet, so I decided I would go ahead and do that. This drawing is another redraw, and it's a redraw of the drawing that you see on the side as the reference. It's actually a drawing from a speed paint I actually made a while back on the channel. It's really early on in the channel's life, so you probably haven't even really watched it, but it was there, and the character that was in it I have redesigned since. It was also the character that I used for my my first screensaver or desktop wallpaper artwork, so I wanted to make another artwork with them, kind of redesigning this piece. It's kind of a redesign, but it's really it has a lot more to it, and it almost feels like a piece on its own, but I'm calling it a redesign or a redraw, because technically it kind of is. But yeah, for context, this character I don't have too much story-wise for, but they're are a different species. They're what I call a crystalline, who are basically these beings that have like crystal or diamond hearts, and this one doesn't live with the others, but this one is sort of like a farmer who lives on their own in on a lone island, which was actually what was being shown in the first wallpaper artwork I made. And for this one, I wanted to incorporate all of that. So I wanted to draw them as if they were going in the night. It's a nighttime piece because I love drawing night scenes. That's very fun, drawing all the stars. And I also wanted it to be a bit different from the wallpaper artwork, and I wanted them to look like they were farming some flowers and gathering them up. And yeah, you can also see that I am currently drawing this in my painterly style. I decided to do my painterly style for this one because the last drawing that I actually made was also way more in a painterly style. It was also during a time in my art style journey where I was very unsure about my rendering style. I've talked about that before though, so you probably know the story. But it was at a time where I was very unsure and didn't really like my rendering style, so I kept playing around with it. And what that led to the piece on the right being more painterly, so I decided, well, since I do have a more painterly style, I would do that here. And yeah, as you can see for the stars in the background, I first put them in with a simple like speckle brush, and then used my normal brush to add in a few more to be a bit more brighter. And yeah, there's a lot of pauses in this speed paint for some reason. I think I took a lot of breaks and forgot to pause the recording at some points. That's my bad. The rendering for this piece was super interesting because I wanted the grass, the quote-unquote grass or whatever it is, to look similar to what I did in the wallpaper look, and I'm trying to play around with like textures to make it more, I guess not grass, I think it's supposed to be sand like. And yeah, obviously the lighting is very different in this piece because it is at night, and it is night. With nighttime pieces, I usually try to stick to two colors. One is a very dark blue, and the other one is a very light blue that's almost purplish. It's a way more cool tone blue. Yeah, but also, as you can see, I added a bit of a glow effect behind the character, as well as a bunch of crystals. I'm not sure what made me decide to do this, but I think it turned out really well. It brings your eye towards where the center of the piece blends the character in with the background, because the background is very blue and the character is very orange. Also, I imagine that this character and probably the species that they're from, their hair can also tend to glow a bit in the night. It's not like actual glowing, but it has like that luminescent effect. It's not to the degree of like the Latoris, which is a species from my Haiku's Magical World story. But for the rendering of the character, the colors I actually used were the dark blue I just talked about, but instead of the light blue, I used the orange because the lighting from the crystal that they're looking at is orange, and so that's what I went with for the lighting source there. I suppose I could have also done a little bit of bounce light of light blue. I didn't think about that at the time, but it's okay. I still really like how this piece turned out. Fun fact, in the original piece, I actually sketched it first in IBS Paint X and then finished it on my computer, which I think I do that a lot now. I'll sometimes do the sketch of an artwork or the thumbnailing of the artwork on my tablet in IBS Paint X and then transfer it over to my computer, which is a lot easier to do now because I work in Clip Studio, because in IBS Paint X there's actually a way you can directly upload your artworks, files and all, onto Clip Studio Paint. So now that I have that, it's really easy to transfer my stuff from IBS Paint X to Clip Studio. Sometimes I wish it could also work vice versa, where you do Clip Studio in IBS Paint X, but I guess that's not an option. But that's okay. But yeah, now that I have that, I do that quite a bit. But I think the artwork on the right here was one of the first times I did that, because I remember doing the sketch while on vacation or coming back from vacation from a road trip, like a good couple years back, obviously at this point. And I wasn't sure if I'd finish it, but I did end up doing it. So yeah, it's interesting to think about that. And the fact that I have gotten more practice in drawing this character. I obviously changed a bit in their design, quite a bit. Their skin tone I changed to be darker. I wanted the contrast on their orange speckles to be a lot more noticeable, and I thought making them a dark skin character would work really well. And I just think they look very neat like this. For the shading of the hair, I did something very similar to what I do when I draw Lana the Lustrous characters, and added in the diamond jagged brush as a highlight along with the normal highlights. I've done this before when shading this character, and like I said, it's something that I do with my Lana the Lustrous characters. They're not mine. I don't know why I said my Lana the Lustrous characters. When I draw Lana the Lustrous characters, this is what I do. Yeah, I've talked about my Land of the Lustrous rendering style before. It's a bit different from my own. There's some differences here and there, but it's not like super different. Much like there, though, I do spend a lot of time on the hair and eyes. And for the eyes of this one, I also ended up shading them differently. You can even see on the character ref on the right that instead of like a normal pupil, which I would draw with a darker color, it's a lighter color in the shape of a diamond. So can you tell that this character is very Lana Lustrous inspired? That might or may not have been intentional or not, but it's the truth. It's the truth. But yeah, the rendering of the eyes, I also used the jagged diamond brush for a lot. I used that brush a lot for this piece. As you can see, I put it in the background, in the foreground, and basically everywhere, including their eyes and hair. This really just is my Lana the Lustrous inspired character, but I'm not afraid to admit that because I love Lana the Lustrous very much, and you should go read it and draw it. I didn't think I'd end up talking about Lana the Lustrous here, but I did, and it was inevitable. Yeah, like I said, this piece was super fun to work on. It is supposed to be a redraw of the drawing on the right. Whether you think it actually is and kind of accomplishes that is up to you. I think it does. I think there's still a lot of similarities that can still count as a redraw. But yeah, I always enjoy drawing more painterly drawings. I also still enjoy drawing more illustrative drawings as well. I love doing both. It's very fun. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this chill speed paint video, and I will probably catch up with you at the very end. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video, watching another chill speed paint video. I have some more chill speed paints coming up for the next few weeks, just so I can take a break from the mass amounts of editing that I've been doing for the last few videos. It was a lot. I don't really like editing that much, so that was a lot. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and the artwork. As always, this artwork as well as my others are in the description linked below, and you can check out my comics. One of them I talked about here, Heike's Magical World, on my webtoon linked below, as well as two of my others. And that's pretty much it. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!